Thank you very much, Gilbert. I will be moving along quickly because I do believe that Q&As are very, very important, and I would love to hear your questions. So Trillium is a very intriguing company in as much as it's in the world famous Red Lake District. We are the largest landholder in the Red Lake District, and we have an extremely tight share structure with only 58 million shares out, fully diluted, and our basic share count only about 41 million shares. As of today's market price, which is approximately 81 to 83 cents Canadian, our basic market cap is only about 30 million, and we currently have about 6 million in cash in the bank. So as gold companies go, for what I'm about to show you, we are extremely cheap, and we are extremely well held by management and insiders. If you were to look at the insider buying over the last few months, you'll note that I've probably bought about $300,000 worth of stock. Retail owns the next largest chunk of the company, and of retail, the majority of that is very friendly. And institutionally, we're held by about 16% institutions. And those are APAC, Phoenix Gold Fund, and Commodity Capital out of Europe. We have an extremely strong management team. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because you can read it yourselves, but I will highlight our technical team led by Bill Patterson, who he, along with his team, are holding about 150 years of experience in the Red Lake area, and the vast majority of that with Goldcorp, who owned the world famous Red Lake mine, which is now owned by Evolution out of Australia. But like I said, he and his team spent the vast amount of their careers in approximately 150 years in the Red Lake area combined experience. Like I mentioned, we are by far the largest landholder in the jurisdiction. It's not even close. Evolution would probably be the second largest, and then you can see the market caps as well as the land holdings of some of these other companies. Clearly, Battle North is no longer in existence. It's now owned by Evolution. This is a very compelling slide that I spend time on for potential investors. You will see Battle North, which is now Evolution. This is Evolution's main infrastructure and the world famous Red Lake mine, which is about 25.6 million ounces at greater than 15 grams per ton. And here is pure gold. The Dixie discovery, which is now trading for Great Bear worth about $800 million or close to $1 billion, is very, very intriguing. What is very notable is that just recently, Barrick purchased all of this land between Great Bear and our Confederation Belt package, which has completely gone unnoticed by the market, and you would think would put a bid in our stock. But when you have one of the largest, if not the largest gold mining company in the world, purchasing the land between a very, very material discovery and the land that we own, that is, in my opinion, extremely compelling as an investment opportunity. But the vast majority of time that I'll spend with you is on Newman Todd and Gold Center. What's very interesting about Newman Todd is that it's got a historical drill length of about 55,000 meters, and basically every second hole that was drilled in Newman Todd between 2010 and 2013 hit greater than 10 to 20 grams per ton, which is high grade anywhere in the world. And almost 99% of that was done from surface down to 400 meters. These jurisdictions in Canada tend to continue for kilometers, and so we barely scratched the surface of that drilling. When we inherited the data from Newman Todd, it wasn't in a model. So we spent probably the first 6 months of my tenure leveling that data, putting it into Leapfrog, which is the modeling software that most of the majors model. And this is what was spat out. And what is really, really compelling here is that There was a drill hit down about 1 kilometer into the Newman Todd structure. So we know this structure, which is gold laden and bears high grade almost everywhere, is open at depth and open along strike. And you can see this in this pattern on this diagram right next to it. We've evolved this discovery and now know that we have several other areas that are major exploration opportunities for us. And quite frankly, if you were paying attention to our stock and did some due diligence just ahead of this conference, you'd note that we just hit 9 meters of 20 grams per ton right in this area, which you can see carries a lot of high grade material. But what we know now is that we believe these east-west faults, these dotted lines, are what are controlling the grade in the Newman Todd structure. We now know there's high grade all over here, and we're about to start testing if there's high grade in this D area. Clearly, mineralization will continue along the Newman Todd structure itself, and you can see that we're creating the beginning of another major discovery area here along this structure that I'm pointing out. This is about 1 kilometer wide. As I mentioned, this nexus or concentration of gold here, that model I showed you in the previous slide, that's about 2 million ounces, not in 43-101, but in a global resource. And so what we're going to spend a lot of our time between now and Christmas drilling is these exploration opportunities here, because if we can start hitting high grade all along this structure where these east-west structures intersect, similarly all over here, you're going to create a compelling, very, very large open pit opportunity that clearly will go beyond 2, as we already know that resides here. We've also recently picked up a property. These are just some of the grades, by the way. I'm going to show you again on another slide these grades. We've also picked up this property here, Willis, and this sliver of land in between us is owned by Evolution. Here are some of the grades that I wanted to mention to you. These are world-class grades that were drilled in 2010 to 2013. 16 meters of almost 9, 0.6 meters of 343, 27 of 6, 31 of 13, 7 of 32. So this 9 of 20 we just hit this morning is right up there with what's being drilled historically. Clearly, it shows that this area carries high grade, and it's my expectation and my belief that in the next decade this will be an operating mine in the Red Lake area, just because it's only about 25 kilometers away from where the Red Lake mine is. It's further by logging roads, but clearly if this has the potential to be, 2, 3, 4, 5 million ounces at 2, 3, maybe even higher, this will be an open pit mine that someone in the Red Lake area will take advantage of. These are more continuous holes. But what I wanted to, and this is important in as much as this is the property right next to Newman Todd that carries, basically this is blasted material right from surface, visual gold at surface all over the property right next to us. So you can see that this Newman Todd area is going to be, in my opinion, potentially a prolific area. Where I want to take you to now, though, is the Red Lake area and our Gold Center property. Like I mentioned, this trend here, it's called the Red Lake Mine. It includes the Koshner Mine, the Mackenzie Mine, the Gold Eagle Mine, Campbell, Red Lake Mine, Delta Shaft, number 3 Shaft. This in its entirety has produced 25.6 million ounces at greater than 16 grams per ton. And we own 80% of the property, literally right next to where they are mining. This is a slide out of basically Evolution's presentation. They've already said they're going to be spending 25 million Aussie to explore in these areas. But what I really want to draw your attention to is these two areas where they are mining gold currently, that is only about 300 meters away from our property boundary. We are drilling in the gold center property right now. We have a planned drill program of about 8 holes. 2 are in the assay lab and a third is about to go to the assay lab. This is where we're drilling. It's in a slightly shallower area because the depth of this mine is down about 2-3 kilometers. So we're choosing to drill down about 1 kilometer. We've entered into and hit with certainty the Balmer volcanics. Balmer volcanics, I don't want to be too complicated, are the host rock for everything that you see here that's being mined and has been mined. And if we hit on any one of these holes, our market cap is going to be far greater than where we're currently trading at. So I'm going to jump back. I'm going to close it on this because I'd like to take some questions. But in a $40 million market cap, $6 million in the bank to keep drilling at Newman Todd and Gold Center, a project that is world-class from an exploration potential, contiguous to Barrick and now Great Bear. We own all of this. I'm shocked. That's the reason why I've been buying in the market. But I think you're going to see Red Lake get a very strong market attention here near term. It just feels like there's so much happening. And when you get the likes of Barrick stepping into this area, you have this discovery here, you have operating mines here, you have another mine that's going to go into production here called Springpole. You have another major discovery up here. We are currently doing some minor exploration here, but my belief is that at some point in the next while, you'll see us make a major discovery along here just because of what's going on in the belt. You just don't see opportunities to buy into companies like ours with the management ownership that you see, with the insider buying that you see, with the upside that you see. It's honestly shocking the value that we're getting now, because in 2005, 2006, with much lower gold prices, but a higher gold market, this would be a $200 million market cap company. So with that, actually one more point I should say, Newman Todd, the project, while they were drilling just that project in 2010 to 2013, the market cap was 200 million. So literally just Newman Todd. And we just press released today, 9 meters of 20 grams per ton. We're up a little bit. We're trading at like 80 cents, but this is the least loved sector in North America. And hopefully, as Chinese investors who love and understand the value of gold, this will bring a lot of attention and opportunity for you. Thank you very much, and I'll take questions now.
Thank you, Russell. So a few questions here. The first one coming from Craig. He's asking you, what's the Trillium's exit strategy? Is it got the companies or build your own mine?
No, look, if ever we got to a point where Newman Todd was going to go into production, I would recuse myself. We'd bring in a new management team that's operating. Our technical team could do it. They've worked at Koshner and Red Lake. They know how to operate mines, but that's not my skill set. But honestly, our exit strategy is to get sold to a major. And, you know, for sophisticated investors, people will understand not only that 1780 is a phenomenal gold price where majors are making tons of money, but they'll also understand that the gold market is an extremely short supply, and the majors are going to have to make acquisitions here near term if they're going to maintain their production targets. And we're building a company to be at the top of that list.
The next question from Mandible, more on macro kind of views. How do you compare gold to crypto, or the gold stocks versus crypto stocks?
So I happen to have a master's degree in economics and started my PhD in economics. And I'm also the executive chairman of a very fascinating company called DeFi Technologies. in North America, everyone is trying to convince people that gold is bad, crypto is good, that crypto's the future of gold, and that, you know, forget about the gold industry. I have a completely different view. They're symbiotic. They should be friendly. Everywhere else in the world, I think people view gold and crypto as potential options, not one to be hated and the other to be loved. So I see a world where the US is in deep trouble. Currencies are being printed far too aggressively. Inflation is running rampant. And quite frankly, the smart investor should have a lot of gold and a lot of crypto.
That's good to hear. So this one coming from Clark, you seem to have a lot of projects in the area. So how are you going to focus on the good ones to maximize the shareholder value?
Well, my belief right now is that no one cares about exploration, and the only way to create value is with the drill bit because of how negative the sentiment is in North America. So we are focusing on the drill bit, and we will add value by drilling. I mean, for people who don't understand, length times grade is how you interpret a drill hole. And if that length, meters, 9 for us in our recent example, times grade, in this case 20 grams per ton, is greater than 100, that's a world-class hit anywhere in the world. We literally just hit 9 meters of 20 grams per ton, and our stock has barely moved. This is a very weird world where investors are chasing cannabis and psychedelics and crypto, and they're forgetting this sector that protects you from inflation and the demise of the US dollar. So yeah, we're focusing with the drill bit. We will do exploration programs when the market improves, but for the time being, our money's going into the ground to keep on trying to hit world-class intercepts.
So the next question coming from Anne here, and he's asking whether you can tell us more about who are the key technical people in your company to interpret the deposit and drive the exploration.
Yeah, so I flipped through the slide, but that's our technical team. Bill Patterson leads it, Paul Bark, Denise Saunders. These are all ex-Goldcorp employees, and their combined experience is about 150 years in the Red Lake area. They've worked on Koshner, they've worked on Red Lake. These are all part of the Red Lake complex. I would say our technical team in Red Lake is probably better than, in some cases, even Evolution's, because they're bringing some of the outside Aussie geos in. Obviously, phenomenal team that they have, and they're an incredible company. But we have truly a world-class technical team for the Red Lake area in the team that we've put together.
One last question here for you before we go. How do you compare which one company in Red Lake that you look up to? Great Bear or any other company that you really want to compare yourself to?
Well, I'm going to answer this a little bit politically. So Great Bear's driller is a guy by the name of Bob Singh. He's the guy who drilled the 55,000 meters at Newman Todd. He and the rest of the team at Great Bear have done an incredible job. And the market cap of that company is staggering. I think they make a very appealing target for any major. It's a world-class discovery, and like I said, I anticipate us holding 2 or 3 of those on our Confederation belt. So if you see Great Bear go, you absolutely should. Well, I'd be buying Trillium now ahead of any potential M&A, because Great Bear is a huge story and something that I think is probably on the appetite of many, many majors. The other company I look up to is Pure Gold. It's in production. They moved early into Red Lake. And those would be the 2 that I think have done a great job in the jurisdiction.
Thank you, Russell, for being here and answering all the questions here for you today, Russ.
Very welcome, Gilbert. Thank you for having us. And if anybody has further questions, Gilbert, please feel free to give them my email or send me their questions and I'll respond.
For sure. Thank you for joining us.
You bet. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.